Good afternoon. It's it's 12:02, and this program policy committee meeting is come to order here at the Samuel A. Meyer Boardroom, located in the Upper West Building, room 105. Welcome, everyone. I'm gonna do it again, okay? Because it wasn't on. Ruben's gonna get mad at me. Good afternoon, everyone. It is 12:02, and this is the Program and Policy Committee meeting held here at the Samuel A. Meyer Boardroom located at the Alpha Lee West Building, room 105. Welcome, everyone. I will take roll. Jackie Levin Ramos, Chair, present. Erica Benavides Garcia, absent. Lizzie Newsom, absent. Ernestina Tita Cantuvela, absent. And some of the members will be joining us shortly. We begin with the presentation of the TASB Board Policy Update Number 50, review updated legal policies and act on local policies. Dr. David Aresola, welcome.
Hello, Dr. David Arazola, Vice President of Student Success and Compliance, for the record. Um, We have our latest update from TASB on, for the policy manual. We have about 24 policies that TASB has put out for us to review and adopt. And for, the ease of kind of going through these policies. I've kind of broken them up by section, but a lot of the policy revisions in Section B, whether it's BA, BAA, or BBE, or BD, or BGC, have to do with Senate Bill 37. And really kind of clarifying what the board has oversight over on and what administration has to do. So one of the biggest ones there is because, and we discussed this at length in some of the board meetings in the fall, is BGC local. The new update, and you see this throughout some of these policies, really puts into a policy a lot of the things that Senate Bill 37 has to say about faculty senates. The policies that are all under C have to do with either facilities, technology, and security. CL local, for example, has more than anything to do with Senate Bill 8. Senate Bill 8 is what we know as the bathroom bill. That's the bill that has, that has the college have any multi-use, either restroom facility, locker room, or dressing room. If it's designated for males, only males can use it. If it's designated for females, only females can use them. But it also allows us to designate any single occupancy space as open for anybody to use. So we're already in compliance with that policy. We have about 20, I think we counted 29 single occupancy restrooms across both campuses, and all of them have been designated as just restrooms, right? We don't have them designated for any particular gender. The other interesting policy among the C's is the technology policy, the AI policy. So that does not ban AI for use on campus, but it does kind of give us a little bit of direction on how to establish a framework for the use of AI, whether it be in the classroom or by administration. Pretty short policy, and it basically does what it needs to. A lot like with a lot of the local policies, it does leave some room for us to interpret these a little bit further in some of our standard administrative practices.
Thank you.
The D's, these all have to do with employee policies, and I'll highlight the one here that we worked on again a lot through the fall, or there's a couple here, but DGC local is the employee expression policy. So with the freedom of expression policies, they're triplets, right? So they always come in three. So in the Ds, you'll see an employee expression policy. In the Fs, you'll see a student expression policy. And in the Gs, we see a community expression policy. So those three policies mirror each other as much as possible, right? But in kind of in a nutshell, what they say is for students and employees, any common outdoor area can be used to conduct expressive activities as long as they are restricted to time, place, and manner. So there are certain things that they can do. Can't disrupt operations of the college. They cannot use loud percussion type instruments. Can't conduct any expressive activities after 10 p.m. or before 6 a.m. There's a list of time, manner, and place restrictions on each of those policies. The employee and the student policy particularly are pretty much identical. So employees and students, there's a campus, and they're allowed to conduct these expressive activities anywhere on campus. We don't, when we work through our practice on that, we don't necessarily need to give approval. We ask employee groups and student groups to go through, my office or student life, so that we can guide them on and let them know what the restrictions are. But there's no, it's not necessary for them to seek approval. It's just more seeking guidance and information on how, how they can conduct their expressive activities.
And provide notification.
And provide notification, yes. And more than so we can reserve spaces, like we don't want, hopefully we don't have a lot of this, but we don't want groups to be sort of on top of each other, wanting to use the same space. And that's something that we can organize and provide guides for. Now, on the community side, it did change quite a bit. So the community is almost restricted to what we call the stump area. So anyone who's coming in from the community and wants to conduct these expressive activities has to do so by the stump area. The stump area is right in front of the Cigarroa Science building here. It's called the stump area because there's a little tree stump there. There's also a bulletin board there for community folks to post up signs and any type of information they want to place up there. At the south, we have a similar area designated as stump areas. I think in the policy they're called designated public forums. And that at the south is the area between Billy Hall and the AAC building. There's some stairs there, and folks can conduct expressive activities in that area.
Billy Hall and, I'm sorry, Dr. Arisa, recognize Ms. Newsom in attendance to our meeting.
Hi,
Welcome.
everyone.
You said between Billy Hall and what building?
And the AAC building,
That's the, what is that AAC?
the academic advancement. It's
That's
where
right,
most of our
The
general
classes are
education
held.
coursework is going on.
Okay. And so with this, when we were talking about this particular item, that now it's designated only, I mean, it's always been for students, right? But the community cannot come in and participate in the stump area?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, this community has to stay in the stump area.
Oh, has to
They
stay in the
cannot go outside the stump.
Okay. Or designated public area.
Right. And the designated public forum.
Committee also recognizes Mr. Rangel in attendance to our meeting. Welcome.
Ms. Ramos, the stump area is our designated
Area.
space.
Yes.
So we have one on each campus. And that's for community or public. But students and employees can pretty much do it anywhere.
Okay. Students and employees, much everywhere. Okay. let me bring our members up to speed. We are reviewing the policy changes from the very first item on our agenda. And it is the presentation of the TASB Board Policy Update 50. Dr. Arezola has separated them by categories, and he's been discussing some of the items related to facilities, technology, and security, and also employee rights, conduct, and employment, dealing with the different either replacements or additions, but mostly dealing with Senate Bill 37 and then Senate Bill 8. And Dr. Arzola, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm just going to add one more thing to that discussion about the designated public forums. In our campus map, which we have placed online, thank you to Dr. Ortiz's team, they have placed an orange dot on both campus maps so that the public can easily find these designated public forums. You see the right, building 234 is the Cigarroa Science Building. So right in front of that building is where we have that designated for here at the Fort McIntosh campus, at the South Campus. Again, this is the AAC building, this is the Billy Hall, and it's the, little area there right between the walkway and the building. So the information is available for the public to see it. And again, a lot of times when we have the public come in my experience in dealing with these issues is that they're pretty good about coming in and talking to us first. And so we'll share with them information about time. Again, there's time, place, and manner restrictions on everything, right? When they can do it and how they can conduct their expressive activities. But again, we have never had, really a bad experience with any of those things.
Dr. Arzola, if I may interject, the committee recognizes Ms. Vela in attendance to our committee meeting. Welcome, Ms. Vela.
We'll move on a couple of policies in this update on under the letter E's, right? So the letter E's are always academic type policies. It kind of jumps back to, so this is where kind of the E's and the B's connect when it comes to Senate Bill 37. We know that that's a largely academic bill, but it again, it reiterates some of the oversight the board has over the general education and some of the approvals, or it's really more of an awareness that the board has to be made of with curriculum changes. And we also establish a review of low enrollment degree and certificate programs. That's in, I believe, EFAA. That's a new policy. I believe that's where it is. So the last set of policies is the F's and the G's. Again, these are all the S. Any policy that starts with the letter F usually is about students. Any policy that starts with the letter G is about the community, right? Again, a lot like as kind of I was saying before about the triplets, right? So there's an employee expression policy in the D's. You'll see a student expression policy. It's almost a mirror policy to the employee expression policy, and the community expression policy here too. GD, again, a lot of you look at those policies, a good 70% of it is the same in all three, just one for employees, one for student, one for community, just with that one exception about community folks we kind of have to keep them in the stump area, right? In the designated public forums. There's a public complaint policy in a FLD and GB. Those are for student complaints and public complaints. Those are things that Ms. Peña is already handling as far as the student complaints are concerned. A lot of the complaint process, there's another kind of little level that has been added to the student complaint and the public complaint process. Nothing that we're not already doing. It's just now already in the policy.
May I address the board?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
So some of these we had already done. TASB just hadn't sent the
The
updates in writing. When the 89th legislative session finished last May, we immediately started working on what were some of the things we needed to change in our practices and in our local procedures so that we could be in compliance. And so many of these have already been enacted, and we've been doing them since the start of, because we were supposed to start September 1. And so we've already been doing it, but TASB has just now sent us the actual update and verbiage for the policy handbook, and that's why we're presenting it to you today. And you have your manual and everything's in there, okay?
Yes.
And to add to that, TASB sends us legal policies and
Yes.
local policies. So the legal policies usually a lot more, a lot longer, but those, in a way, that's how, when TASB sends us the legal policies, it's their, this is what the law says, right? So they're letting us, this is what all the laws pertaining to higher education, this is how they impact Laredo College and how they're going to be put into our legal policy manual. Now, legal policies are only for review. Us as an administration and you all as a board do not vote on legal policies. They're there, right? So once this Thursday's meeting is done, they're input in it. Now, the local policies, that's more TASB's interpretation of how we're going to implement the law here on campus, right? So we spend a lot of time as an executive team, and we have a team back there that we review these local policies, make sure that we're okay with them, and we might change. Sometimes we might change like a word or two, or maybe I think in this update we said, well, there's a policy here, DGBA, that we're going to take a closer look at before we adopt, and so every once in a while there'll be some things that we as an administration and as employees will look at these policies and we'll make some recommendation or work with TASB to clean them up. But for the most part, whatever TASB sends, we'll usually accept as a recommendation.
And I know we've been really good about adapting those local policies to the work that we do here at Laredo College. And so it gives you that opportunity to be able to mold it towards the environment where we're at. And because I've seen other local policies in other places. And just something food for thought is that not all 54, 52 Texas colleges participate in TASB.
Correct.
And that is something that is by decision by each board.
Right.
And so they do provide a very good interpretation of the scope and area where we're supposed to govern. And so with the years that I've been here, I really like to have that as my backup, and then working with our legal team also to make sure that we're in compliance with many of the changes that are happening. I've never had to adjust to so many changes coming out of the legislature as we are right now. But it really helps that they are working for us, really. So working for those that are participating in the Texas Association of School Boards. So thank you. And for interpreting also, it takes a lot from the administrative, individuals that are administration to review all the information and make sure that we're in compliance and then come up to us. And I'm glad we can have discussions and also ask questions about why this and that. And so that I find that very interesting and very, very well beneficial to our board.
Yes.
Dr. Arizola, anything else?
Unless you all have any more questions.
May I have a copy of your PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yeah, or you send it.
I'll leave it here.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from board members? Okay. We go on to number 4, discuss modifications to Laredo College Board Policy BDB, local board meetings, public participation. Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So in working with, let's see, let me pull it up. ADB,
That's a lot.
local.
I'll read it.
So one of the things that we've been discussing is, as far as BDB local is concerned, is the recommendations that were made by TASB. And this is in regards to the public participation of the community. And so we have that public comment section in the agenda of the board meeting. It is practice at both the school districts and at the community colleges that items that are to be presented upon at the board meeting by the general public relate to an agenda item that is on that board. And we have not put this in writing, and it hasn't been our practice. It is a recommendation that we change this policy so that if there is information that needs to be addressed, then it can be addressed at the time that the agenda item comes up. Because during public comment, board members are not to respond. And so it is public comment, not the trustee's opportunity to engage with the person who is presenting. And that's for many reasons. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm sure Mr. Muir can help me here. But we're not supposed to engage with the public.
Correct.
But at the moment that the agenda item does come up, that means that either staff has made recommendations or has done research or tried to pull together information, and that also gives you time to review either our recommendations or things that are happening, because it'll be in your board packet ahead of time, and that gives you time to ask questions of us and whether or not we want to deal with that matter. Since I've been here, this hasn't really been an issue. However, to try to be in compliance and to try to make things, I think, better for our trustees in giving you all information ahead of time. And if an individual wants to say something, that they would reach out to us ahead of time and say, can this happen? And then they can go to a board member and say, can you put this on the agenda? In which case, there would be some familiarity with the topic and not having any way to respond to the information.
If I may, I totally agree on that, especially with the changes that have taken place with the notification of the public on the agenda. Now we have more time that the agenda is posted out there. And so any items that are going to be on the agenda, the community and the public can see the agenda items and then relate back and find out if there's something that they want to talk about and something that they want to come in. I do know that as board members, when someone speaks a public comment, we don't respond. We just hear them out. And so I am in favor of having anyone, any public member, because I know they've come to me and they've asked me questions, and I go, let's start at the top. So let's go ahead and go and visit with the president and go visit with administration before, so that we can have that discussion about that particular topic. And if it needs to be brought to the board, then we can bring it to the board. I do believe that with this time opportunity, the community has a better opportunity to be able to ask the questions and to say, you know what, I want this on the agenda. Plus, I also want to talk about it with everyone or committees or
Right.
whatever it needs to be done. So.
And that gives the rest of the public an opportunity to see if they want to come make comments,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And so I think the open forum or the public forum opportunity gives people the opportunity to express their opinions
Mhm.
and for us to take it into consideration.
Correct. Yeah. Mr. Angel?
Madam Chair, thank you. I just want to add a little bit on this. I know Dr. Ramirez has discussed this with me, and I know it's a recommendation that's being recommended for us to do this, but by no means, and I just want to put it out there for the public, by no means are we saying, we don't accept, public comments, or we don't want people to come in and address anything. But I think we pretty much hit everything, the important parts, which are, if for whatever reason there is something specific that's important, I feel that, like mentioned both from Dr. Ramirez and Ms. Ramos, that, like she said, start from the top, right? Have a meeting with Dr. Ramirez or her A team to being able to solve whatever problem, if there is a problem, that needs to be solved. And if you mentioned it, sorry, that was Siri. And if there is something important, like Ms. Ramos said, put an item on the agenda, and any board member could put it on, and and allow it to come to the board and have a discussion, and we'll have a Q&A on it. But I think that would help staff get ready to come in and pretty much mention, why we're doing certain things and their recommendation, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are doing the job every day. So, but yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, that by no means are we telling the public you cannot come in here and speak. We welcome public comments, but I just feel that sometimes things could be addressed in a different manner. But yeah, so I just want those are my 2 cents with this item.
Well, it also gives you the opportunity to respond,
Yes.
right, during the meeting
During a
and
meeting,
not stay
and
quiet.
stay
Yeah.
quiet.
Yeah.
Right.
And then people automatically think that you're hiding something because you
Correct.
cannot respond,
Can't respond back.
but you just can't. We're
Correct.
being advised by our legal counsel to not respond because it wasn't an item that was posted.
Correct.
So, but yes, but those are my 2 cents into it.
And,
Thank you, Madam
and
Chair.
Ms. Newsom, recognize Ms. Newsom?
So I want clarification on this. So if it's an item, whether it was posted because, we had time to post it because we went through the channels of going with the president first, and then that particular person or parties or whatever community organization want to, still give their public comment. I want to know where does it say that it has to be done that way?
So state law requires that all agenda items be posted to the public.
Right.
3 working days before the meeting, right? And so it can't be the weekend. It has to be working days. And so if it's not on the agenda, the request is, if it's not an agenda item, that public comment not be allowed. If it's an agenda item and somebody shows up and wants to make public comment on whatever's on the agenda, they absolutely can.
Okay.
If they sign up, I think it's 15 minutes before. Is
Correct.
that correct, Ms.
Mhm, mhm.
Bocanegra?
So that's what I wanted to make clear, because
Yes.
some things, might be pressing, they might be time sensitive, and no, we're not going to wait. Oh, at least, and plus we can't
Respond.
respond anyway, whether
Right.
it was on the agenda item or not,
But
or
you
whether it came
can.
before.
But then you can. So when the agenda item comes up,
Oh,
then you
yeah,
can
yeah.
respond.
Right.
Right? So you're
Um,
not completely silenced by a public comment if it's an agenda item when the agenda item comes up.
I just think that if it's urgent or time sensitive,
Then we
that-
call a
yeah,
special
like
meeting.
that shouldn't,
Yeah.
we should not prohibit somebody from coming and speaking. We
And-
can't, actually.
And also, we're not prohibiting anybody. What we're actually doing is calling to order on the Robert's Rules of Order, because it's really important for us to understand how we can respond. And sometimes I've seen in the past, someone will come and make public comment and look at us like, why are you not saying anything?
Correct.
Because we can't say anything. And we've even had situations where the people that are making the public comment question us right then and there and say, why don't you answer me? And everyone stays silent because we know what we need to be doing. And we're not against anybody. The thing is that even if the subject comes up and I want to talk about something related to, business of the college or whatever, and I want answers because I'm coming as a community member and I want answers from the entire board, then I'm not going to get the answers in that manner. And that's why it's really important for people to understand there's policies and then there's designations of what needs to be done. And once you find out, okay, public comment, it has to be 15 minutes before and so forth. And we've had instances where people come and they have items on the agenda and they wanted to talk. And I personally have said, they got here 20 minutes late. Bring them over. We want to talk to them. We give them that opportunity because we have that communication with Ms. Bocanegra or with anybody in the audience from the administration that lets us know, hey, there's a person that came in late, they were rushing or whatever, and they want to talk about an item on the agenda. It works. It synchronizes things so that there's a better understanding. And ultimately, most, if not all of the pressing issues need to go before our president first, to have that discussion with them and find out what are the ramifications, whether they be legal or by local policy. And so I just think it's a way of syncing things together and making sure that we respond to the needs of the community and make sure that we address them promptly and with courtesy and with time.
I just want to be clear that I'm not in disagreement with that. That would definitely be best practice. I mean, ideal. That would be the ideal situation. What I am saying is that we can't, I would like to know if we have like some kind of basic script where it's telling anybody that's, public commenting publicly, we are just here to listen. We cannot respond or give you an answer or, a solution right here.
Right.
So I just think there should be, if there isn't, sorry, right? Just a general before any, the public speakers are allowed. Can we have like a little, Mr. Muir, do we have something that says, before you all speak, please know that the board, is here and is listening like everyone else in the audience. However, they cannot respond, they cannot fix the problem or whatever. So you can't give a solution right then and there.
Mr. Muir?
Madam Chair.
Yes, just to add a little bit to that, the policy itself, the current version, not the new version that will be adopted, does say that. It actually says that the matter will be referred, the board can't deliberate about, and that's the whole issue, is that if the item is not on the agenda, the Open Meetings Act doesn't let the board have any deliberation about the subject that was raised in public comments. Now, in this situation, if a member of the public, if this policy is passed, a member of the public comes in and makes a comment about a particular item that's already on the agenda, the chair would say, thank you, that will be addressed later in the meeting. When the board gets to that item, any board member could respond to the public because the public has notice of the subject as it's listed in the agenda. So now, let's say under this new policy, a member of the public brought up a subject that's not listed on the agenda. The chair would say, under policy BDB, we are not able to take that comment now. Please visit with the college president and she will discuss it with you and come up with something to say. But at that point, the college president, I don't know if this is acceptable to you, Dr. Ramirez, but yeah, she can say, okay, well, look, we'll address it here, try to respond to your concern. If that doesn't work out, it could be placed on an agenda of a future meeting.
If we take a look at the section entitled Procedures right below on page 2 of 3 under BDB, However, no individual shall be given less than 1 minute to make comments. It's the first paragraph, and then the paragraph that follows is the speaker may not speak on personnel or student matters that refer to individuals by name or title. After a speaker's comments, the board president shall make whatever response, if any, or take whatever action, if any, is deemed appropriate to handle the matter. Such response or action may include the following: referring the matter to the college president, referring the matter to a later meeting, or indicating that the matter shall be taken under advisement. The board's response, there is a section entitled for the procedure for the board's response. Specific factual information or recitation of existing policy may be furnished in response to the inquiries, but the board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Complaints and concerns, the presiding officer or designee shall determine whether an individual addressing the board has attempted to solve a matter administratively through resolution channels established by policy. If not, the board shall hear the complaint or concern and refer individual to the appropriate policy. See the list below to seek resolution. So under the policy, the procedure is listed there. We used to have, during COVID, we used to have a form or a paper. Dr. Araceli, you remember? That form was given to the individuals that were coming in to speak, or it was sent to them through email so that they would know. But even then, so we had a couple of individuals that would come and blatantly just, talk about employees, talk about, individuals and so forth. And so we had to make sure that we advise them of the procedures that followed under the policy. I think it clarifies things a little bit better. We're not only changing or adapting, but we're also making sure that the rest of the procedures are there. Do you agree, or you see that?
Yes, I read it all. Again, I'm not saying that this is completely, this is ideal. I mean,
Yeah.
this is textbook.
Yeah.
However, I don't feel that we should have a policy that says you can only speak when you've already had this on an agenda item. Now, we can give them the rules, you can't do this, you can't do this, name whatever, all the stuff we just said. But, or they should be given that, in writing prior to, them speaking so that they know. But I don't think by putting here this, it's pretty much saying, hey, you can't come and speak. That's
Well,
the way
they
I'm saying.
can.
Yeah, they can.
Yes, they can, just
Without it being on a board
on an
agenda?
agenda, no.
It has to be on the
I
agenda.
will tell you that in doing research about all of the local and area school districts, no, all of the local and area school districts have it that way.
Yeah.
It's in their policy
The
now.
policy.
We're the only ones that don't. But at the state level, the ones that I pulled at our meeting in January, everybody has it in there.
Mhm.
We're one of the few that have not changed the policy to update it to recent times. So that's why we brought it forward.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Rangel?
Yes, thank you. Again, like I mentioned, and I get where Ms. Newsom is coming from, right? Which is, are they going to be allowed to talk or not? Or can we respond? Sometimes what we need to do is we just need to look at our legal counsel, and he'll respond for the board on behalf on us on, board members are not allowed to respond or something like that too, Lizzie. So it's those types of things. Now, if for whatever reason, and we mentioned it several times, for whatever reason, if it is a pressing issue, like Ms. Ramos said, just talk to Dr. Ramirez. I mean, she'll be able to say, okay, you know what's the issue? No, I have a concern with a parent or a student that's having this situation. I mean, I give her, I don't want to say problems every day, but I give her, Dr. Ramirez, can you look at this? Why? Because I'm not gonna be calling, somebody, and I'd rather just go through the proper channels, which is the right thing to do, is just talk to Dr. Ramirez, and they'll be able to, handle it if it's a pressing issue.
And I do want to just say, I know y'all are talking about concerns, but we also get public support
Yes.
and compliments over departments and things that are going extremely well. And so I think it doesn't just it's not about muffling anyone. It's about making sure that we're all
We're ready.
we're all educated at the same time. But if we were going to pass any kind of, whether it be construction or whatever, of a building, a historical, there may be people in the community that want to talk about the importance of the historical site or the importance of upgrading a particular piece of one of our campuses. And so it goes both ways. If it's on the agenda, then you can hear them speak. If it's not on the agenda, then
Yeah.
we hopefully put it on the agenda for next time. If it's not resolved by then,
By then.
or if it's not something that we can discuss then.
Thank you, Dr. Ramirez. Ms. Vela?
You know, in all the years that I've been on. the
Your
board,
mic,
I
ma'am.
don't-
Your mic.
It's on. I'm not, but I'm far from it. In all the years that I've been on the board, I don't think we've ever really had a major problem with this. But we also need to think of ourselves. You know, when we come to the meeting, we get the agenda a week before and we review it and, you know, we have questions, whatever it is, and we're ready to discuss what's on the agenda. And when someone comes up and starts talking about something completely off, it throws us all off because we, as a board member, have not had time to research, to read about it, and to find out. Now, if it's something that someone is concerned about, go talk to Dr. Ramirez, and we'll be glad to discuss it. We're not turning anybody down, but we need to be given time to be able to make educational decisions with the correct information and not get something thrown at us. Now, if somebody's going to come and say we're wonderful, well, I want to hear that. But if it's, no.
Thank you, Ms. Vela. And so I like this discussion. I like this opportunity to have this opportunity for dialogue because it strengthens the committee's role and mission to have the information be spoken about and then maybe speak about it a little bit more at the meeting. If our concerns would like to be, we want to share our concerns with the other members of the board, this is a great opportunity to do so at the same time. I really like the dialogue. I really like the back and forth. I like the opportunity to have that discussion about the topics that we bring to the table because policy is changing at all times. And we adapt to the environment of our community. We adapt to the environment of the college systems. And so I think this is a wonderful way of us having that discussion that, back and forth. It might seem like as if we're not in agreement, but I think we talk about things and I really enjoy that. So I commend my committee members for having that insight and wanting to ask questions. I mean, we need to. We're not here to be robots either. So we need to have that discussion also brought up the day of the meeting so that in case we have those maybe perspectives, we can share them with the rest of the board and see how they feel about us adopting this policy. Now, we're going to bring it because we bring all policies through the committee meetings, and then we bring them up the day of the board meeting. So I thank my committee members for being here, and Mr. Angel, you're not a committee member, but you are a committee member ex officio. Mr. Muir?
Just a comment about a remark that was made earlier. There is in the policy a 15-minute time limit. So not time limit, but you have to sign up to speak in public comments at least 15 minutes before the board meeting starts. It is highly recommended that the 15-minute rule be applied to everyone and that an exception not be made. And the problem with the exception is that you can engage in viewpoint discrimination, which is a
Correct.
violation of the U.S. Constitution. So, yeah, I know that it's unfortunate. Somebody might be running, they get caught by the train and what have you, but if they don't sign up 15 minutes before, they shouldn't be allowed to
And I
speak.
think the reason I mentioned that was because I recollected it was during the COVID times.
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
people were coming and we were having a discussion about an item on the agenda.
Mhm.
And I don't know if Dr. Dayton remembers that, but I clearly remember that individual. And I believe that administration approached, one of our president at the time and the chair about that individual who needed to speak about that item on the agenda. So it was, I guess it was before all of, yeah, and it was
Mhm.
at that moment. So, but it wasn't like a practice that we do all the time. So
Yeah.
we,
No, I agree. I don't think the board is
no,
engaged
no,
in
we
that
don't, we
practice.
don't do that practice.
I
So
just wanted to mention.
thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Muir. I
Yes,
appreciate the clarification. With that in mind, we come to the end of our committee meeting. Any other discussion?
I have one more question. So on this update, right?
That's yours.
The revised manual, right? Which I have been reading. I mean, I will never get through all of this, but I was reading through the ones that we were going to be discussing today. So going back to all of the BDs here, right? Where here does it say that at all board meetings, it should be limited to agenda items only?
Those are not the,
This
those are
is
the only
not the
updates.
whole thing.
Yeah.
This is just the updates. The actual board manual is about this big.
So, but where does it say anywhere on here? Because we're supposed to be, I mean, from what I'm understanding, we're trying to
Update.
use TASB, right? Because I heard Jackie, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Kind of as a backbone, as a guide for us. And this is a pretty big guide, right? And so I'm asking, a piece of it, right?
Yeah.
So the pieces that we're discussing are the ones that are on the items, right?
Yeah.
But so my question is right here on the BD part, where does it say that public comments can only be made if that person put that on the agenda, got it on the agenda item through a board member or however, right?
That-
If
that's-
I'm-
No,
If I may,
Sure.
so that packet right there is just updates to the other
So what
big
we
packet.
already, yeah.
So
Okay, so.
We need to
my
look at
question
the
is
other one.
again, like,
Look on the computer.
Just really quick,
We
Dr.
need to look-
Ramirez,
Doc-
can we,
Mr. Muir?
Elizabeth will give you the.
Mr. Muir, you had
it
a,
says right there that we cannot.
No, what I'm
We're scratching out all public shall permit public, we're scratching that out. My
We're
thing is,
not.
where does it say?
TASB is.
Where does it say? I'm asking, where does it say?
Dr.
Mr.
Ramirez,
Mayor.
can you just have staff send her by email the,
Why can't you
that-
just tell me right now?
Because
Mr.
I'm
Muir,
trying to
let me
look-
go ahead and let me recognize
yeah.
Mr. Muir. Mr. Muir.
So the TASB update is separate and apart
From
from
the
the
policy.
modification that the board is discussing, new BEDB. The TASB issues updates on local policies twice a year.
Mhm.
And they actually don't touch the vast majority of the policies. They pick certain ones. BDB local is not included in TASB update 50. So you wouldn't see the public participation policy come up in TASB update 50. TASB update 50, most of it was driven by the legislative changes that took place last year. And the legislature didn't touch the subject matter that's covered in BDB 50. So to summarize, that would not be addressed, Ms. Newsom, in TASB
Right.
update 50.
Right.
Okay, so
So
I
if
get,
it's
okay, hold on,
not-
hold on. So I get what she's asking. She's asking for reference.
Yes.
Where is that policy? But it's not going to be on that
Right,
packet,
yeah.
right?
This is
So
a little bit.
let's make that clarification. The packet is not dictating
on-
this change for
Correct.
right now,
That's right.
correct? Okay, that's one. Number two, if we want to make reference to BDB, where does it say that you must be, that the board shall have the public comment is really related to the agenda items? That's where we need to go back and we need to print that particular policy
Mhm.
so that Ms. Newsom can see the reference to it. Okay, it's two different things that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
The update 50 belongs to it was being updated from the legislature. But we want to know, and Dr. Arizola, I can tell that maybe you already picked it out, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Muir, let me recognize Mr. Muir again.
And again, I think we've all accurately stated what's in TASB Update 50. There is a legal policy that's not in TASB Update 50 that does address public comments. And it does say that a governmental body shall allow each member of the public who desires to address the body regarding an item on the agenda for an open meeting to address the body. So if there's going to be an item on the agenda that the board is going to discuss, you have to let a member of the public talk about it. But the Constitution or statutes in Texas don't require governmental bodies to allow members of the public to talk about items that are not on the agenda. That's,
They don't require, but they don't object either. So that
That's
right
true.
there,
That's
that right there is saying that they can, that this is what we can do, but it's not saying, but you can't do this, which all I'm saying is if somebody wanted to come in for whatever XYZ reason, they feel it is something urgent or time sensitive or maybe emergent, I'm just saying we should not, by adding this right here or taking it off, actually, we are pretty much stifling everybody from being able to have that opportunity. Yes, ideally, right? We want to follow this. And I just think that if we have that protocol, which we do, that is stated at the beginning, hey, you only have 15 minutes to talk. You have to have presented this, that you were going to speak 15 minutes before, and the rules are the board is only here to listen. No solutions or discussions can take place. I don't think that we need to take that out. That's just we might want to add, ideally, this is the best practice, following these protocols and rules, but that to me is not right.
And I appreciate your opinion and I appreciate your perspective. And so you'll have that opportunity to have that discussion, to share your perspective on the day of the meeting. And if the board as a whole decides to adopt this particular recommendation, then the board has decided on it. But I'm not going to say that it's going to pass because I don't know yet, because I can't predict the future. But all we're doing right now is bringing it up to the board, seeing if there's an opportunity to have a modification. If there isn't, then the board will speak with the answer. Dr. Ramirez?
Yeah, and just for clarification, to all of you, the reason I put it on there for discussion is not, I don't think we're only trying to comply with the law. And from my CEO's meeting, they said, if you haven't fixed this already, you all should, because it is the law, and to be in compliance with open records and to be in compliance with the law. And Ms. Newsom's right, doesn't preclude, but so I came back and I checked with everybody, county commissioner, city council, all the school districts, everybody has it already in their practices and policies. We're the only ones that don't. So that's why I brought it forward. If you all don't want to be in compliance with that, that's fine. It's certainly your decision. And again, I'm only doing my job.
And duly noted also, Dr. Ramirez, and also understanding that we all have different ways of seeing things. The perspective might be a certain way that maybe we don't understand or we want to understand. And so we have to understand each other for that same reason. And we have to know the why, right? I think it's, and I'm one that always questions the why, like why? And so, yes, we're gonna bring this item and we're gonna speak about it at the board. And so the rest of the items, the updates and so forth, we'll also have that discussion in case anybody has a concern. Now, given this instance, I want to share with the rest of the board, because I know if you don't come to the meetings, to the committee meetings, you'll find out the day of the meeting, right, on the item on the agenda. We all have had ample time to review it. We've all had ample time to do all of these items. If you come to the committee meeting and you feel real strong, and I'm not talking about committee members, I'm talking about any other member, feel really strong about a particular item that's going to be coming up to the board, then we'll have that discussion on that moment. But all of us should have that preview And our job, well, my job as a chair, is to make sure that I summarize and I provide all the information and the discussion that happened here today with the rest of the board, and they have to be prepared as well. And so knowing that we are going to be talking about this item, that's going to be, that the item is on the agenda, that now it defaults on the committee and also on the board to have that conversation. And so I appreciate again the dialogue that we have with each other. And yes, I encourage more dialogue at the day of the meeting in case there's any other questions or concerns. But if the board decides to vote on it and there is an approval of it, then we modify the policy and we adjust to it and then accordingly. And I would also suggest to the rest of the board that we maybe heed some of the suggestions and maybe bring back that form that we had and have it outside, have it ready in case, whether this passes or not, but let's have it outside and have it ready for anybody that registers for public comment. The public comment, if it does pass, the public comment will also help with any item, whether it's recognition or whether it's an item on the agenda or a notification. So anything that's listed on the agenda for that board meeting, anyone can come and talk, whether it's a positive or a semi-positive, pro, against, or whatever, relating to that item. And I encourage the public, because I know this video is on YouTube also, I encourage the public to check out the agenda items prior to coming in. And so knowing what we're having that discussion on, maybe there's something that they would like to share with us. But right now, at this point in time, we're going to bring this up to the board on Thursday. Okay? Questions, comments, suggestions? Okay, I appreciate your time. I know it's lunchtime. Really appreciate you all being here. And with that, it is 12:59 and we adjourn for this public program and policy committee meeting. Thank you very much once again, and we'll see each other on Thursday.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry for this. It's Team Jersey
no.
at, I feel bad walking in here with this. Team Jersey Day at school today. Sorry.
No wonder. It's a Monday.
We've got stuff planned all week for the counselors. It's counselors week.
Ah, Counselors
Don't forget,
Week.
We've got our counselors here.
Counselors,
I
advisors.
love her. I'm waiting for the good public comments.